These fabric bags for Christmas turned out adorable. They were super quick and super easy to make, and there was no sewing required. That's right, no sewing required. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. You guys know that in my usual videos, I normally make DIY busy books with just felt and hot glue. Today, I'm not going to be working on the books. Instead, I want to make some reusable Christmas wrapping fabric bags that can be reused every Christmas. I don't know about you, but I am getting really tired of spending a bunch of money on wrapping paper and then spending a bunch of time wrapping presents, which I do a terrible job because I just don't have a lot of patience, all just to watch them be ripped apart and then thrown out a few days later. I have a bunch of Christmas fabric that is left over from when I used to sew my busy books, so I thought, why not make it into some Christmas bags? Now, I do know how to sew, and normally I would sew these, but I wanted to show you guys that even if you don't know how to sew, just like you can make really cute busy books for your kids, you can still make these reusable Christmas fabric bags. Now, I'm actually going to start out by using hot glue. I really like using my hot glue gun because it's so easy to use and the hot glue gun sticks are so cheap. I've never done this before, so I'm not 100% certain that the hot glue gun will work well. In case it does not work well, I do have this Gorilla fabric glue that I bought and I tested it out. It does work very well, but it's a lot more expensive and it's harder to use to squeeze the glue out of the tube. It doesn't come out quickly like a hot glue gun. So I want to start out by trying the hot glue gun and see if that works, specifically with flannel fabric. If it doesn't work well, I will go and I will try this. I do want to emphasize again that I have used hot glue on other fabrics before, like cotton and fleece and all sorts of other fabrics, denim. Hot glue does not stick to those fabrics well at all. It will stick at first, and then once it dries, you can just pull the two fabrics off that dried hot glue. However, I find with flannel, it does work better, at least when I'm using it on my busy books for the covers. So I'm really hoping that it will work for these fabric bags. We'll find out. Okay, let's get started on this. Wish me luck, and make sure your quality on your YouTube settings is set to the highest, preferably HD quality, so that you can see every little detail that I'm doing. So the first thing I've done is I have cut out 2 copies in the exact same size of this really cute flannel Christmas winter themed fabric. The size that I started with is about 21 inches by 30 inches. I just happen to have one piece in that size, so I went ahead and cut another piece in that size. Now the first thing that I'm going to do before I start gluing is I'm going to take both of my squares and I'm going to take the side that is going to be the top of the bag, and I'm going to fold it over, and I'm going to use my hot iron to iron that down and create a nice crease. And then once I have that crease, I'm going to just dab a few spots of hot glue at the ends and maybe one dab in the middle just to keep it folded down. I don't want to put a bunch of glue all along there because then when I press it dry, that hot glue will soak through the fabric and it'll make it look wet at the top. So I'm just going to sparingly put a little bit of glue after I've creased that top down. And I'm going to do that with both of my fabric rectangles. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my pieces, I'm going to lay it down with the good side facing up and also with the top of the bag, that side that I just creased. I'm going to put that towards me. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue all around the edges, not across the top. Obviously I don't want to glue the top closed, I want to keep the top open. But I'm going to apply hot glue all around these 3 edges. And I'm going to, bit by bit, glue the other piece to it. So I need the 2 good sides facing each other and glued together, and then once they're glued and dried, I'm going to flip it right side out. As I glue these 2 pieces together as well, like I said, I'm just going to do a little bit at a time because I don't want that hot glue to dry before I get a chance to glue it. And I'm going to be pretty generous with my hot glue. Okay, you guys, I have finished gluing my 2 sides together. I can't help but laugh because I know this is kind of ridiculous and ideally it should be sewn, but I know we don't all know how to sew and you don't have the time or the money necessarily to go out and buy a sewing machine. But let's see how it turned out with hot glue anyways and see how strong it holds up. Flip it the right side out and push out the corners a bit. Okay, so here we have it. It's basically like a big Christmas pillowcase. Now the question is, how well does this glue hold up, and can you see it? I don't know, in terms of its strength of staying together, it's hard to tell. I mean, obviously these bags are not really meant for carrying objects around or playing with. They're simply just meant for putting a gift in and then letting it sit under the tree until your child opens it up. So it's not gonna really go through a bunch of kind of rough and tumble play. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I know if I pulled that hard enough, I could rip apart that stitch that we did with hot glue. But I think it would be okay for a fabric bag. I'm probably gonna make the rest of them out of hot glue as well. Okay, I'm gonna put one of the gifts that I got for my son for Christmas in the bag and see how well it holds up. This is a dog, but it's actually quite heavy because it's not supposed to be just a stuffy, it is a door stopper. So he's meant to sit in front of a door and hold that door in place. So I'm gonna put that into my bag here. And see, this is so much easier than wrapping, because how would I wrap this? I'd have to put it in a box and then wrap the box. I don't want to do that. Okay, so the bag is kind of too big for that puppy. I need a bigger gift to go in there, but that's the idea. I'm gonna make some smaller ones and some medium-sized ones as well. Now, you can also put a ribbon around there to tie it closed. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out a strip of fabric. I'm gonna iron down all of the edges, and then I'm gonna glue them together so that I have this nice strip of fabric to wrap around to keep the bag closed. So basically, to make the tie, I'm going to get a strip of fabric. Mine is about 8 inches thick, and oh gosh, it's probably about 40 inches long, but I don't think it actually needs to be that long. And I'm gonna iron down all 4 of the edges, so the 2 ends, and then I'm gonna iron down the 2 sides to make a nice crease. And then once they're all creased, I'm basically gonna fold it over and just glue all of the ends together so that I have this nice strip of fabric. Okay, so that's what I've got so far for the band. I've ironed all the edges down and glued them, and now I'm just gonna fold it over in half and glue it together at the edges. Okay, the hot glue is still a bit warm, so it's still drying, but there's the tie. So that's Joey's little doggy in there. And we can tie it around, and there it is. I think I'm gonna make some smaller ones because most of my gifts are oh, the sun's right in my eyes. Most of my gifts are pretty small, so I think I made this bag too big. This will have to be for one of the bigger presents. Okay, I'm gonna try making a few more and I'll show you guys how they turned out. I'm gonna try another bag, and this one I'm gonna cut it to be about 18 by 14 inches. Okay, this one that I made is a much better fit for the doggy. I'm gonna make one more. Look at how cute this fabric is. Look at the little reindeer. And here is how they all turned out, the ones that I have made so far, all made with just glue and some flannel fabric, except for this one. This one I did have to sew because this one is not flannel material, but they turned out really cute. They were all made with hot glue, which I recommend using hot glue. Let me show you the other glue that I did try to use on one of the materials that was not flannel. I used this Gorilla Glue. It's meant for fabric and permanent adhesion, but look what happened. The top of it exploded. The package broke and glue exploded out the top. Now, I give this product a 10 out of 10 for its adhesion, but it was kind of a pain using it. I would not recommend using it for fabric bags. I would recommend getting flannel fabric and using hot glue, because that hot glue does do a really good job. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10 earlier in the video. I'm going to change it to a 10 out of 10. I think they turned out really cute. They're holding together really well, and even if like you have a heavier item, they look cute. You can't see the glue coming through the edges. Like, they're just really cute. I love them all. Look at those little reindeers and those puppies. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I also recommend flannel because it is relatively cheaper compared to other fabrics that are at my local fabric store anyways. And also, flannel always comes with like really cutesy kids print or themed print on it. And not to mention, it's the only fabric that I have found that works really well with hot glue. I hope you guys loved making this bag, and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. We'll see you in the next video.